Stocks by day, sports by night. Trading around the clock. Sports, value, life.
Nolan Klein.
It's Elite Co 3.
Hey guys, Nolan Klein of Elite Co 3, and today we're going to focus on a Q&A of questions posted by my loyal subscribers / viewers. There is a nice assortment of questions, all pertaining to the hobby. So I'm going to do my best to answer these and give you guys the insight that you have come to love over time. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and let's get right down to the questions. All right, question number 1 comes from Joshua Johnson. Do you notice a common pattern of prices during season and then off season for any given sport? And if so, do you use that for your advantage to invest more heavily in the off season for resale when the season starts up? The answer to this one is yes and no. I think in the off season, certain players still command premium values, while other players, they also lose value and are not as hot. Those would be bearish markets for those cards. But I would say that one example from last year that I used to my advantage was 2015 National Treasures football. I kind of waited a few months until the product had been out, and I was able to pick up some cards right before the season started at a nice discount. So I think there is an opportunity for buyers to pick up stuff in the off season, but it's not as apparent as you may think. Next question comes from Jyothi, and he asks, what football products do you recommend for someone looking to crack some wax for an overall 2015 product or 2016 product that you would put in line with a product that has the value and quality of 2014 SP Authentic football? I actually wrote down a few suggestions for this. As you guys know with me, I like value. I like lots of rookies, lots of cards in my hobby boxes. I don't like to settle for boxes with 10 cards or less. So 2015 Prism Hobby, not the Jumbo. Hobby has 2 autos. You get a lot of numbered color. 2015 Topps Chrome, tons of rookies. That brand is nostalgic already, considering they don't make it anymore. And then for 2016 Prestige, you get 4 autos. You get a nice assortment of rookies, base cards, which some people don't like, but hey, it's not bad. And 2016 Score, kind of similar to Prestige, just lots of cards, lots of parallels, lots of value. All right, next question comes from Sports Card Collector. Thanks for your videos. I always look forward to seeing them. Several questions. How do you store and display your PC cards, assuming that cards are in mint condition? Are there any instances where you will not? It's best to leave a card ungraded that you think is mint. What are your views on modern auto cards, sticker versus on card? Is the market flooded with them? That's a funny question because, we all know it's flooded. Is it only artificial scarcity, meaning a card might be numbered 25, but since there's purple, blue, red, there's not really 25 of them. So for this question, I would say for low-end cards that look like PSA 9s, if it's like $1 or $2 card, I won't slab it for the most part. It just kind of depends on the player. Any card that has a raw value of $20 to $30, I will try to slab it. If I think it's a PSA 9 or higher, even 8.5s at times can add value. In terms of how do I display my cards, pretty similar to how most people display. I have some acrylic cases I bought online that look really cool. You can fit about 50 graded cards. I use the monster boxes that can hold up to 5,000 cards, I think. Binders. That's pretty much it. That's just a pretty basic way of displaying and storing your cards to keep them safe. Next question comes from M.A. Giobi. Do you anticipate a bubble burst for those card products that are drastically overpriced? This is a very good question. So for 2016 football box prices, I don't think you're going to see much of a drop-off at all in these. I say that because there's still going to be a lot of hype for Dak and Zeke, and also you have Wentz, who's coming on pretty strongly. I think the anticipation gamble effect of these products is going to keep people paying high values for these boxes. So those are going to stay steady. Now, as for Dak and Zeke cards, I think those are going to decrease by 30 to 40% in the next 7 months or so. So that's kind of the bubble burst that I see coming in the future. All right, Lucas Eat World asks, how do you list so many things to eBay so quickly? It takes me at least 5 minutes to do a listing, putting in titles, specs, pictures, etc. And after an hour, I've only made it through around 10 listings if I'm lucky. I just don't have the time or patience. how do you do it? I totally understand not having the patience with dealing with listing through eBay. It can be tedious, slow. The way I do it is in the past I've used listing tools, programs, software, as in InkFrog. Another good one is Activa. These will actually, you can make one template and you just change a couple things, like change your title, picture, and the specs. You can do it very quickly, much more quickly than we're hearing here. So, and then lately I've just been listing directly through eBay, and I just kind of have my template made out, and I switch the title, picture, specs. That's really all you need to do. Don't get too in depth on these. Just get it changed and get your listings going out quickly. Next question comes from Ty Legend 13. One question I have is, why do autos of players that aren't numbered sell for less than the auto that is numbered? An auto is an auto, right? Or is it just the whole serial numbering thing? I personally scoop up autos that aren't numbered because they're cheap, and why not? I totally agree with you. I have tons of cards that are not numbered, and they're very nice looking cards. Not every auto has to be numbered. I think this goes back to the topic of artificial scarcity. If a person sees a card numbered, they think, oh, there's a little bit less of that. Oh, that one's out of 50? Oh, wow. And then if it's not numbered, you don't really know. It's kind of like, is there 100 of these? Is there 1,000 of these? So I think it all goes back to people thinking they have something special when a lot of the times they don't. So that's my answer for that one. All right, next question comes from BJ Sports Cards. What is your plan for collecting baseball? Is it going to be prospects or Hall of Fame players? Or do you have a new kind of collecting baseball? Not sure what the new kind would be, but yeah, there are different avenues you can take. For me, I'm not doing the prospect thing anymore. I think there's something I've thought of for a while called the Bowman Chrome Rookie Auto Phenomenon, and that's when players are hyped up in the minor leagues. Their cards continue to rise up. They get to the show. They don't perform that well. They're pretty like an average player. Their cards plummet 70%. I've seen even some up to 90%. So I'm not going to do the prospect thing anymore. I'm doing PSA 1950s to 1990s of mainly Hall of Fame players. So that's my strategy. All right, next question comes from Hockey0065. How do you tell if a card is off-centered or not? Well, different sets require different perspectives. I have a demonstration for you guys. I've got 3 really cool cards. Everything's cool, right? But 2003 Upper Deck LeBron James is a PSA 9. Cards like this, they don't have like solidified borders, as in you have a border on this side, a border on this side. So you just kind of look at the lettering of the card. See if it's centered in the card. That's the best way you can look at these ones. Most of the time they're centered pretty well when they don't have borders. Here's an example of a close to 50-50 center. This is a Jerome Bettis 1993 Topps rookie. That's a PSA 10, so it's pretty much 50-50. So, and then we have one that's not centered too well. To me, this one's like 75-25. This is a Hank Aaron Topps. What is it, 69? 69. So this one's off-centered. Can you guys tell by the borders what I'm talking about? So, and of course, there's centering on the back you can look at too. But PSA really emphasizes the front of the card and the overall eye appeal of what you're sending off. Next question, Spartan Dogs. My question is, do you think that 90s inserts will ever be desired or in demand again, or just something forgot about? This is another yes and no. There's just so many cards that were produced in the 1990s that demand does not reach supply. There's too much of it. You got inserts that are worth 25 cents, 50 cents, and they'll probably stay that way forever. I think certain ones that were printed less, there you go back to supply and demand, will be worth more, and again, depending on the player. I know Michael Jordan has a lot of cards from the 1990s, and his inserts are hitting astronomical levels, so it depends on the player and the level of scarcity perceived, or in actuality, if it actually is scarce. All right, Big Bert asks, how do you evaluate which cards to buy ungraded to possibly send into PSA? Only from certain sellers? Price has to be worth the risk. Go off the picture alone. Look for poorly listed auctions. At the end of the day, just try to use the pick that is available to you. Take a chance, and if it's not gradable, you can throw it in your store and resell it. These are very good questions, and for me, I'm pretty much open to buying from all sellers. If they have positive feedback and they list their stuff correctly, yes, that's fine. The price has to be worth the risk. Raw cards I usually sell for much less than graded cards. I always look at the picture, but you have to remember some people use stock photos and it's not actually the card that they're selling you. So the card might look crisp and nice in the stock photo, and they send you one that's all chipped up, looks like a dog bit it. So poorly listed auctions would go back to auctions that end, at 1 or 2 in the morning when most people are sleeping. You can pick up some great deals that way. But I would just check the feedback and aim for the best you can do. I mean, you just do not know what you're going to get sometimes. All right, last question comes from Bowman Chrome Man. One thing I would like some info on is what cards players do I need to pick up that are still under the radar in terms of price. I have some examples here. This is my opinion on some players and cards. First card is 1994 SP Marshall Faulk. As we all know, one of the greatest all-purpose backs and running backs period of all time. Of his 94 SP, 6,200 have been slabbed by PSA. You have 485 PSA 10s for a 7.7 pop. Pretty hard to get a 10 in that set. Another player, I think he's on the verge of 12,000 or 13 yards career rushing. Should be a Hall of Famer eventually. Frank Gore. Check out his SP Authentic on-card auto rookie or his Ultimate Collection. And for baseball, we have Adrian Beltre. Check out his 97 and 98 PSA 9s and 10s. He's closing in on 500 homers and 3,000 hits, and he's never been accused of steroids. It's awesome. And the last example, I've said this in different videos, but I'm gonna bring it up again. 1989 Donruss Ken Griffey Jr. 26,844 slabbed, 1,284 10s for a 4.9 pop. That's extremely low, as compared to the Upper Deck. 63,883 slabbed, and 2,998 10s for a 4.6 pop. So what you see is very similar in terms of condition sensitivity of the cards, but there's a lot less of the Donruss 10, and the Upper Deck sells for 5 times as much. So I don't know. I would say the 89 Donruss is a great buy. All right, guys, that's it. This is Nolan Klein of Elite Co. 3. I hope you guys liked the video. Make sure to like it, subscribe, and comment. One story I wanted to mention was I wanted to get some opinions on viewers' feelings towards the Raiders trying to lure Marshawn Lynch out of retirement. I don't think they're really trying to lure, though. It sounds like he's just as on board as they perceive to be. So I think that's very intriguing. I actually think that would be a great move for them. 1 or 2 year deal for, I don't know, $10 million or so. So we'll see what happens on that front. And stay tuned on the channel. There's some pretty intriguing videos coming up that I think you guys are going to enjoy.
Stocks by day, sports by night. Trading around the clock. Sports, value, life.
Nolan Klein.
It's Elite Co. 3.